Hey folks, so if you just stumbled onto this video here and you haven't seen any of the other ones in this playlist, then there's actually a link down in the description of this video that will take you to any of the other videos in the 7-part playlist. And on top of that, at the beginning of the first video, I provide a little bit of background in terms of how this podcast came to be, the team at Epic Gardening, and just kind of how much of a fan I am of everything that they're doing over there with the company and the community that they're building and creating. So feel free to check that out. But other than that, let's go ahead and start diving into today's episode.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Epic Gardening Podcast. Kevin Espiritu here. We are on with Jordan again from Mind and Soil. This is our last episode for now. Jordan, we talked a lot about the mental health benefits. It's fall, it's winter. I'm actually kind of curious just what's going on in your garden right now.
Oh, a lot of rain up here, which if there was a way I could give you some of it, then
That'd be
like
great.
You wouldn't mind it down there.
I'd love it.
Yeah, so I'm up in Canada, also on the West Coast, so it's a little bit moderate, but the garden definitely has like a distinct end to the season as we get into the late fall and early winter. And so one of the things that I like first and foremost love to do as the season comes to a close and to start setting myself up for the next season is just like a quick reflection on this past year, so that all those insights, those learnings that I have from this past season are recorded somewhere. And part of it is like what grew well, what didn't grow well, but a big part of it for me, because so much of gardening for me is like that mindful side, is like, what did I get the most enjoyment out of? Like, did I love going and learning how to grow that pepper plant? What were the crops that I really, really fell in love with this year? And then the flip side of that is like, what felt like chores in the garden this year that I'd like to find out how to have less of or do less of in the garden for next season. So that'd be the first part, is just like spend a little bit of time reflecting on the highs and the lows of the past season.
Yeah, for me, I think last season was a lot of learning on the new land. And then this year, I've already started some building projects, like rebuilding some beds, reshaping, restructuring those beds, any sort of like thing that makes life easier. So putting in irrigation this fall, doing some composting systems. A lot of the infrastructure is going to be going in the fall because even in my climate, which is pretty beneficial, I can still grow throughout the fall and winter, but it's just still way slower. I mean, there's not much you can do to combat that. And so I'm focusing a lot on infrastructure and build outs.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my third piece, and we'll loop back to my second one. But like the off season is such a good time to be doing those infrastructure projects. And a big recommendation that I would have to anybody that's on the earlier side is like, don't rush into those projects. Like spend a year growing just using grow bags and moving them all around your yard so that you can find like, where is the sun in May when it's earlier in the season versus like July, August peak season, and how do you want to be factoring that into the raised beds that you end up building, to the greenhouse that you potentially put in, and then as you get that kind of full season under your belt and you move into the off season, then really start ramping up those infrastructure projects, which you and I are both in the middle of. And I'm about to start playing around with a gravity fed irrigation system from the catchment on my house, which I'm not sure if you have played around with at all yet.
No, I haven't done gravity fed. What I've done is rainwater capture into a huge tank, and I can do gravity fed, I suppose, from any of the barrels, but I don't have those currently hooked up because right now what I'm trying to do is I have zero irrigation at all, so I've hand watered the entire property, and so that has to be fixed first, and then I'll be maybe trying to use some more sustainable methods.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And, it's funny, like I set my irrigation up this past season as well. And that's like, just off of the city line. And it's like, I'm glad that I got that set up. And now it's like, we need to move to something that's more sustainable than this, especially here where we get so much rain.
Yeah, totally. Any other tips? I know you had 3, so.
Yeah. And then, that second one that I was going to circle back on is that the end of the season is actually such a good time to begin like slowly rejuvenating the beds, right? We think about all of the beds that we might have, and if they've been in use and growing over the course of this past season, then those plants have been just pulling so many nutrients from the garden over the past 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And so that bed is most likely, from a nutrition perspective, at its most depleted state right now. And so rather than waiting to the springtime to start that rejuvenation process, I am a huge believer in doing just two super simple things before kind of closing down the garden for the winter. And the first one is to add like 1 to 2 inches of compost, because all of the microorganisms in there are going to slowly eat away at that organic matter and free up nutrients in a really nice and slow manner over the course of the fall, winter. And then the second piece is to throw a mulch on top of that. It's going to help keep them insulated so they can keep hard at work through the winter there. And it's also going to help keep a lot of the rainwater out, especially for us here where we get so much of it through the winter.
Yep. Could not agree more. It's such a good time to just like let your beds get improved passively, whether that's putting a cover crop in and doing a winter kill or a chop and drop, or just being very, very simple and adding some compost on top, which is something that I've been doing as well.
Love it.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, it's been great having you on, man. I'm glad we finally got to do this. If someone wants to connect, I know we have the links in the podcast description, but it wouldn't help to shout them out again. So let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first and foremost, thanks so much for having us on here and for all of the videos over the year, because so much of what I know how to do from the garden comes from all the education that you've put out. So really appreciate that. And yeah, to follow along with us at Mind and Soil, you can follow us on Instagram at Mind and Soil, and then as well on YouTube at Mind and Soil on YouTube there.
Okay. Awesome. Great to have you on, Jordan.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
I like to think of the Epic Gardening Podcast as a way to kind of whet your appetite for a particular topic that's interesting to you that you want to apply in your garden. And one really good way to do that is to head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the Epic Gardening channel. We have 200 plus videos over there, really breaking down some of these topics so you can actually sink your teeth in and apply them to your garden. So head on over to YouTube, subscribe to Epic Gardening, and I'll see you over there. Good luck in the garden and keep on growing.
Alrighty, that is the entirety of the playlist here, folks. So I would absolutely love to know what you think down in the comments here. Let me know how you enjoyed this conversation. If you'd like to see more stuff like this in the future, let me know down below there. Otherwise, that's everything for today. I can't wait to catch you on the next video. Go get those hands dirty, and I'll see you soon.